Now, back to the random stuff. We got 2 more episodes of this left, hopefully. So we got 12 shows left and then 2 end caps. So let's see what we roll next. It is 9. 9 is Pui Pui Molcar Driving School. Okay. Let's do some more stop motion stuff. Let's go.
Huh. What the heck happened with this one? I made it 8 episodes into Pui Pui Molcar Driving School, but I just really didn't find a lot of it funny, even though I loved the first season. And I have ideas on why I don't find this funny, this second season. For one, it's a little bit more restricted in its scenarios, whereas the first season was just random insanity. This one, it sets most of its episodes in a driving school. But aside from that, I really don't know what went wrong here. I know there's a different director, so maybe that's part of it. And maybe it's the first season was just so novel that it was fun, and this is just the first season again, but worse. But I don't understand how it's worse in the specifics. There were some episodes where I just didn't understand what was going on. So I was just kind of left going well, okay. That just happened. I think episode 4, I think, was probably the best one. That's the virtual driving simulator one. But that's about it. The first episode was pretty decent. But, yeah. Kind of a letdown. Disappointed.
Alright. Molcar Driving School off the list. Also, for some reason, I can't believe we're this deep into it. I completely forgot that the TV version of the Berserk Golden Age arc had aired in the fall season. So that kind of threw me off. So this is probably going to be... So either you're getting 2 really long episodes to end the fall season or 3 kind of shorter episodes, depending on whether I finish this or not. But we'll get to that in a little bit. For now, let's go to the next random show. Crank it down to 11. Come on. Down to 11. And let's see what we get. 1. Oh boy. I know what that is. It's Lucifer and the Biscuit Hammer. Let's get this over with.
Look at how they massacred my boy. Okay, so I got about 16 minutes into Lucifer and the Biscuit Hammer, which is way more than I thought I would watch. Way more than I should have, because this show is so fucking bad looking. It is so ugly. The color design is bad. The shot composition sometimes is okay, but most of the time is not great. The character models are already melting. The fucking action animation is dog shit. I hate that my favorite manga has been adapted into garbage. I am a huge Lucifer and the Biscuit fan. I am a huge fan of Satoshi Mizukami in general. Yeah, he's probably my favorite manga author. And this is my favorite work of his. And they were butchering it. So that's just kind of... even if I wasn't a huge Mizukami fan, I would still say this episode was fucking disgusting looking. The color direction is fucking awful. It's just this ickiness that with no rhyme or reason to it. The character designs themselves are fine, but they don't move good. And also, they're already padding this out. I don't know if this is a complete adaptation or not. It's 24 episodes, so I assume it is. Like, 10 volumes of manga, I think they could maybe do in 24 episodes if they really, like, crunched it. But they're already padding it out with anime original stuff. So, I guess let me know in the comments if it was a complete adaptation, because I don't fucking care to find out. I'm not watching 24 episodes of a butchering of my favorite manga. Let's fucking move on. Oh, also, the music choices are so bad. Like, the soundtrack is not fitting in any way whatsoever. I don't know what's going on there. It's disgusting. The one thing that I think was like kind of okay is I think that they cast Samidare kind of okay. It's this nice little cutesy down home kind of feel to it. Yeah, but fuck this show.
Alright, get this shit off the fucking list. Let's move on. 10 more randoms. Let's see what we get. 8. Megaton Musashi Season 2. Alrighty then. This was my dark horse from 2021, the first season of that. Hopefully I like the second season just as much. Let's fucking go!
Alright, well, I finished Season 2 of Megaton Musashi. What a fucking clusterfuck that ending was. Like, okay. Before we get into this, first of all, it doesn't matter because I am literally the only fucking person I know who has even heard of this show. So, it's very weird to talk about this show in general because it's like, I cannot bounce this off of anyone. Like, so I'm just like flying blind into the dark. Also, this aired like almost a year ago now. But, so I'm just gonna get like deep into spoilers for this one. Well, we'll see how deep I get into it depending on what I feel like. But if you're gonna watch this one, first season, I imagine it's still good. I watched it like a year ago. Well, actually, well, more than a year ago now. That was back in the fall 2021 season. And all the things I liked about that season are still here. It's still got really fucking great melodrama until a certain point. The mecha stuff is still really fucking cool. It's goofy as hell up to a certain point. So like all the things that are good about the first season are still here. It's the stuff that they add in for the second season that makes it not good. You can go watch, I think that's the fall 2021 seasonal wrap-up show. If you want to see my thoughts on that. I didn't rewatch it before I jumped into this season, so I was pretty goddamn confused at first because this world is actually kind of complicated. But I got back into the groove of it pretty quickly. We introduced some new characters that are pretty fucking cool. More political scheming going on. But yeah, I really don't have a whole lot to talk about with like the first 2/3 of this season. And this season's 15 episodes long. I don't fucking know how. I don't know how they got that for a show like this, but they did. And the first 2/3 of this season, like the first 10 episodes, are great. They're still really awesome. But then they start setting up things that had the potential to go really badly at the end. And when I say potential to, I mean they absolutely did. I don't remember where it is, but at some point in the first 2/3 of this season, I think it's actually in like the first 4 or 5 episodes or something, they introduce another race of aliens, And 2 of those aliens are named Adam and Eve. And yes, it is insinuated that they come from Earth. And this goes nowhere. Well, it kind of goes somewhere, but it's not. See, here's the thing. Apparently, the show does not wrap up properly, okay? That's the big conclusion that I was leading to. The last third of this season is just trying to wrap things up, because it was very funny when I realized something about the show. It was like, man, they're kind of like talking over the OP and ED a lot. Like, they're doing plot stuff over the ED a lot and OP a lot, like pretty early into the series. And I'm like, man, this is kind of disappointing. I like the OP and the ED. I wish we got to hear them played more. And then when it's hit the last third of this season, I was like, oh, they don't have time to wrap everything up. So they are cramming in as much shit as possible. And it is not good. The last third of the series is not good. Really awful human antagonist character in the form of, what's his name, Dixonberg, who's apparently voiced by Tomokazu Sugita. By the way, there are so many stars in this show. I don't know how. Yuki Kaji is like a secondary character. Miyuki Sawashiro's in this. Aoi Yuki is in this. Jun Fukuyama is like a new main character in this. It's wild. It's like, this is a star-studded fucking cast. Tomoyo Kurosawa plays the main love interest in this. And she's awesome, by the way. But God, that I'm sorry, I just had to talk about that. This is a really rambling section of this video, but my thoughts are so goddamn all over the place about this ending. So yeah, they try to cram in a whole season's worth of stuff into like 5 episodes. There's so many plot threads that just are completely left open. Like the Adam and Eve thing is just completely left open because apparently they're so these are based on video games. And apparently, based on what the fan subbers said at the end of this episode, in their little like text blurb, they imply that all of that shit is explained in the next game. We're not getting another season of this fucking show. It hasn't been announced, and I see no reason for this show to get another season because holy crap, this is this ending is so goddamn garbled, and B, no one talks about this franchise. No one's talking about this show. Like, I don't even hear about it from Japanese Twitter in any capacity whatsoever. So we're not getting a second season of this. So here's the things that they try to cram into this ending. They try to cram in like a human antagonist plot with this Dixonberg guy, where he's going to shoot a black hole into the Earth to wipe out the other aliens, to wipe out all the aliens. I didn't quite understand it. The Adam and Eve stuff comes back at the very end and then is resolved immediately. Not resolved, it's like brushed away immediately. Arshem, our like lead love interest princess lady, gets so many weirdo powers out of nowhere at the very end of the series. There's this little bit of NTR in this that I was not a fan of at all, that I kind of suck. Like, that was how I thought this show was going to fuck up the ending. I thought that's how it was going to fuck up the ending, but it fucks it up in a similar but completely different way. I thought it was going to be like, Arsham and Yamato can't be together. At the end, she has to go back to her planet and breed for everybody. With this evil jackass Griffiths dude, who I'm pretty sure is named after Griffith from Berserk. I'm not 100% sure, but I'm pretty sure. In a very roundabout way, I was right. Because what happens is she kills him as she gains these, like, weird alien powers. And it's implied that she takes, like, DNA or eggs or something from inside of him and takes them into herself so that she can start making more of the Sitter people. I think. Because Yamato died in an explosion right before that. That was when I was like, okay, I have completely given up on this show. Like, he dies in a totally, you didn't have to die this way kind of manner. And then he gets resurrected on the Adam and Eve planet. What's it called? LZ? And then he just shows up on an escape pod on Earth afterwards. Which, not gonna lie, this led to the really fucking bonkers and awesome scene of Arsham just jumping out of a moving spaceship and landing next to him. Loved that kind of way, to be honest. Like, what stops this from being like a 4 out of 10 is that I get my OTP at the end of this. I get the Yamato Arsham ship at the end of this. Which, if this ending had been better and I had not gotten that, I might have still liked it. If they had done like an IBO with Mikazuki, I might have been okay with that. But the ending was so goddamn convoluted and they were trying to jam in so much fucking information that that saved it at the very, very end. Because they also had, like, they'd been separated for most of the season up to that, like, for most of the season. It's not until, like, episode 8 or something that they reunite for a little bit. Or it might be before that a little bit. And they get to kiss. And I'm like, let's fucking go! And then, like, Arsham, like, leads, like, an alien alliance, a new alien faction to side with the humans to try and overthrow Griffiths. And then they get to do, which might be, like, one of my favorite episodes of this series, is they get to do, like, the generic a summer festival trope. It was so fucking tropey and adorable, and I loved it. See, that I want to be clear, I'm not upset over this show for, like, bad writing or, like, tropey writing or just being so heavy-handed about everything. That's the kind of shit that I love about this show. That is what I fucking adore about this, is that it is so ham-fisted about the tropes that it uses, and it has so much soul to it, and so much, like, mecha burning passion to it, and so much melodrama. That is what I loved about this show. And they try to condense it so much in these last 5 episodes that I just end up not caring about it. Like, there's this character with, like, split personalities that's sort of like it could have been so much better, but he's introduced in, like, the last 5 episodes, so he barely gets any screen time, and he ends up being a significant character regardless of that. It's so lopsided and bad. These last 5 episodes are so bad. I hate it. Like, the last episode kinda saved it. But by that point, I was just like, this is so lame. What a disappointment. What a shame. And I would say that the animation is about the same level as the first season, which is to say, not great, but the designs are fun. The mechas are fun, which apparently I didn't notice. I don't think I noticed this in the first season, but I started seeing it in the credits this time. The mecha, it said mechanical design assistance, Go Nagai. As in, that Go Nagai. Mazinger Z, Devilman, Cutie Honey, Violence Jack, Go Nagai. So that was wild. Which actually makes sense because some of the robots do have a little bit of a Mazinger energy to them. And I think if I recall in the first time I talked about this show in season 1, I compared it a lot to Super Robot stuff. So, and that's what is so great about this this is a fucking Super Robot show, and it's awesome because of that. And when it stops being that, it gets kind of lame. But the animation's not great, but I did know there were some surprisingly good like hand-to-hand combat sequences in this. I did also note, on the other hand, I did notice something about the eyes this season. Like, the eyes just don't look right for some reason. So, there's like extra lines at the bottom of the iris that throw me off. And the split personality guy, his eyes are just fucked up, and they don't look good. But, yeah, and then mecha combat's still good. It's fast-paced. Honestly, I think they might actually be messing with the frame rates on the CG robots so that it doesn't look bad. So that it looks better. I'm not 100% sure, but they might be, because the mecha combat in this looks good. Or maybe it's like the color design, is that they actually make the mechas match the color design of the scene better than something like All Noah Zero. That could be it too. Either way, I think the mech combat still looks good in this. Music's really fucking solid. I've never heard of the guy who did it, but it's fucking solid. It's probably the guy who composed for the game. Man, I really wish the last third of this season had not fucked up so badly. Because this could have been like a great... I could have easily... Like, first 10 episodes, easily. 8 out of 10, easily. Last 5 episodes, not good. Not good, bad. So now I don't even know if I can fucking recommend this show anymore, knowing that it has a bad fucking ending. Like, watch the first season. Watch the first 10 episodes of this show, of this season. Forget the Adam and Eve shit entirely. And make up your own ending. That is my recommendation to you. Because I guarantee you the video games are not going to be better. I just have a feeling. So yeah, we're done talking about this show. This has caused me an immense amount of headache, and it's also taken me a hell of a long time to watch. Mostly because it's not streaming anywhere, so I'm bound to my computer when I want to watch it, and I just don't like watching anime at my computer. I like sitting at my couch and just watching it through a streaming service. But also once I hit those last 5 episodes, it got way harder to push through it. So, yeah, let's just go to the list.
Alright, I think I figured out where I want to put this. So, Megaton Musashi Season 2 is done. It's gonna be low. Yeah, it's gonna have to go right in there. And you get a strong 5. Again, first 2/3 of this season, great, no notes. Back third, dog shit. Anyway, I think we're gonna do one more random before we do Berserk. So let's see what that random is. We're gonna do 9. 5. Akiba Maid War. Okay, I've heard good things about this one. Let's wash the taste of a bad ending out of my mouth. Let's go.
Alright, I just watched all of Akiba Maid War. That was a hell of a fun time. Now I'll admit, I was a little concerned at first because, this is a PA Works show, and the reason I'm concerned about that is PA Works shows have this... I don't know how to describe why I don't like most PA Works shows that don't come from, like, auteur directors. Like, Jun Maeda, yeah, I'm gonna watch it. Kei Oikawa, yeah, I'm gonna watch it. I didn't like the last Kei Oikawa one, but you get the picture. But in general, PA Works shows have... Again, I can't describe it. It's this... There's some kind of awkwardness to the writing. And stuff like Soccer Quest and Aquatope. There's always something about it that feels off. And I think Soccer Quest is a great comparison, too, because it's from the same director as Soccer Quest. And I'll admit, the first, like, 2 episodes of this had that awkwardness in it. It's just... it feels flat. I really have no idea how to describe it. I have spent years trying to figure out what exactly it is about these shows that I don't like, because I really cannot put it into words. It's this sort of flatness to the delivery of lines, or like the structure of things, something. I know I'm not alone in this because I've seen other people complain about PA Works writing before, but I've never really figured out what it is. And like the first 2 episodes have a little bit of that, but it is mitigated wholesale by the absolute fucking insanity of this show. This is just a Yakuza drama. That's literally what this is. It's a Yakuza drama, but with maids. With fucking cafe maids. Which, I don't really have a ton of experience with. Actually, sorry, I'm gonna move away from the camera for a little bit. I don't have it over here. Dang it, I thought I had a picture. I actually did go to, a maid cafe once, at Anime Central, I think. It was either Anime Central or Anime Midwest. I can't remember. And it was fun. It's not really my vibe, but I understand the appeal. And I was worried that not being super into the vibe would be a damper on my enjoyment too, but it absolutely was not, because they just are so fucking sincere about this premise. And that is probably the thing that I am enjoying about anime the most right now, is that so much anime is so sincere about its fucking ridiculous premises. It's part of the reason why I liked Megaton Musashi so much too. It just goes full bore, whole ham, as this show likes to say, into this insane premise. There's no like, tee-hee, this is so weird, lol. There's none of that. There's no like snide comments like undercutting anything. They are just like totally fucking committed to the bit. And I fucking love that about these kinds of anime. Like, it's... I've been on a bit of a kick. Like, this... Part of it is, like... You could say, like, part of it is, like, a response to... Well, it's actually a response to two trends, really. One, it's a response to Marvel movies, I guess, where it's just sort of... Where a lot of Marvel movies are undercut. The drama is undercut by non-seriousness. And then... For as much as I say that this genre is fine, this is also kind of a problem in isekai too. Like, I've probably talked about it so much already in this seasonal wrap-up show. But for as much as I like isekai, like the good isekai, the bad ones have this issue of being like not super serious at all about the premise and just being like, ha, tee-hee, isn't this weird? Isekai, lol. So I love when a show just commits to the bit. And the bit in Akiba Maid War is so fucking funny with how intensely it contrasts the hyper moe aesthetic of maid cafes with gritty, bloody Yakuza dramas. Like, the moment I knew I was absolutely committed to this show being like awesome was like episode 6 when Nagomi's like chosen sister Nerula dies, and it's like they're just 100% serious about this death. Like the only thing that I didn't like about that scene was that the ED like bled into it at the very end, and the ED doesn't really match that. That's a common problem with a lot of anime too, to be honest. But they were just so serious about this moment, and I was so invested in it. Really, the moment though when I was like fully on board with this was episode 3, the boxing one. Specifically the moment where it's like they're doing all of these fucking Ashita no Joe references constantly throughout the episode. And then like you have the final like trade punch iconic shot. And then like it's like you think that the moment ends there, but then it continues, and then Ranko, like one of the girls just like gets down on her and just fucking pummels her face into the ring, and I was just fucking cackling the whole damn time. There's so many great bits in it. There's the surprise Venezuelans in like episode 8, I think. Just a bunch of random Venezuelan characters show up to fill out a baseball team roster. By the way, the baseball episode was fucking great. From what I heard, the voice actors for that were like people from the Venezuelan embassy, which would be wild if that's true. But that was fucking hilarious. And the way that they really commit to, like in the second half of the show of Nagomi being this like full-on shonen protagonist of like, I can solve everything without killing people thing. I fucking love it. All the characters in this are super fun. I'm already forgetting names. The black-haired twin-tailed girl. Loved her. I love the Gyaru. I don't know if I consider this a criticism or not. Sometimes I do and sometimes I don't. And this is also a very PA Works thing where there's just one character who is constantly the source of everything fucking wrong, and they don't really get punished for it. And that's the manager in this show. The manager of the Oinky Doink Cafe or whatever it's called. Like 90% of the problems in this show are her fault. And she never gets called out for it in a serious manner. Like, there's sort of like there's a little finger pointing sometimes, especially in the early episodes, but when like really serious shit happens, like when she doesn't read the manual for the Otoe Day, or what's her name? Otoe the Day, the festival, where she doesn't read the manual for that was like 100% her fault, and like they just kind of carry on as if like it wasn't. Like, on the one hand, yeah, shitty managers, you're just gonna have to deal with shitty managers sometimes, so if that's the angle that they're going with, I'm fine, but sometimes it really feels like they've, like, lost the plot on that and just forgot that most of the problems in this show are her fault. And so it got very frustrating. But yeah, loved most of the characters in this show. The backstory drama was so fucking good and so classic, like, gangster drama. I'm not as familiar with Yakuza dramas, but I got a little bit of a mafia dramas in my catalog. So I get the same feeling from this, but about protecting your home turf and what revenge means and what honor means. But then they contrast that with what being a maid is, which makes the last episode so fucking good. And then there's that ending. Like, the last 30 seconds before the end credits, before the post-credit scene. But that one, probably the most brutal kill in the series. If somehow you haven't seen this show yet, the main antagonist dies at the very end in the most brutal fucking way, getting like fucking stabbed through the abdomen by a sharp fucking bamboo shiv that was thrown by a girl in a panda costume. Fucking insane. Yeah, this show is really damn good. I think the animation, like the like still shot animation could have been a little stronger, but whenever this show moves, it looks really fucking good. Character designs are pretty solid. I love Nagomi's design. She's got a little bit of a... She kind of reminds me of Karen from Revue Starlight. Except in episode 8 where she looked like fucking Haruhi. Her in the baseball helmet, I was just like, that's just Haruhi. What the... Okay. It reminded me so much of her. Yeah, the... What was I talking about? The animation, yeah. The artwork and the animation, super fucking solid. Whenever this show moves, it always looks really fucking good. Which, for as much as I shy away from PA work sometimes, I very rarely have complaints about their animation. Like, PA Works has some really good talent behind them, and this is definitely a part of that. Like, the set design and the backdrops feel so well realized. It really feels like I am walking through Akiba throughout this show. Yeah, this was fucking fun, man. I might have to throw this on my anime night playlist for my family. We've been slowly going... I've been building up a list of stuff that we just go through every, like, Monday night and stuff. So, I might have to add this into, like, our comedy slot. But yeah, loved Akiba Maid Wars. A lot more than I thought I would. I was like... I knew this show was going to be fun. Well... I knew this show was going to be out there, but I wasn't sure if it was going to be my brand of fun jumping into it, and it definitely is, just because of how incredibly sincere it is about the dichotomy between the cutesy moe stuff and the gritty, bloody Yakuza stuff. So yeah, would definitely recommend Akiba Maid War. Now let's go to the list.
Alright. Akiba Maid Wars is done. And we're going to put it pretty dang high up on the list. We're going to put it right in there. And you get a light 8. Loved that. Alright. So now we come down to the end caps again. Berserk, the Golden Age Arc Memorial Edition. This is a TV version of the film trilogy from like a decade ago. Let's see. I have never seen the movies before, so let's see how this goes.
You know, I'm remembering why I didn't put this on the list initially. It's because I didn't want to see Berserk look like that. That was bad. That was real. That was not good, both for story and visual reasons. So, this is a TV remaster of the film trilogy from the late 2000s, early 2010s. I think that's when those movies came out. And I was hoping, like, well, they're movie quality, right? So, it'll at least look good, right? No, looks like fucking shit a lot of the time. Not all the time, grant you. Like, the Guts-Griffith battle actually looked pretty decent, and I actually do kind of like the character designs. I don't like that they made Casca less tan, but that's a preference issue. But overall, I like the character designs, and sometimes it pulls off some really solid shots, but most of the time the action is just CG fucking garbage. Like, Jesus fucking Christ, it looks bad. Like, why? Fucking Christ, it's Berserk. Like, it's not as bad as Berserk 2016, but it's still not good. I don't know how... The fucking movements are weightless. It feels cartoony as fuck. It's so bad. And, like, look, I'm not gonna make any qualms about it. I'm a huge fucking fan of the 97 series. It's in, like, my top 15, top 20, somewhere around there. And, fuck you if you think that show doesn't hold up, because it absolutely does. First of all, it looks way better than this show, than the Memorial Edition. Berserk 97 looks fucking incredible. It doesn't move nearly as much, but the atmosphere, the character designs, the shot composition, the color design is so goddamn fucking good in this. And this new one has none of that. Or almost none of that. But also, the story is getting compacted to shit in this. Like, the first episode was just like the standard, was pretty much as I expected. Starts with Guts taking on the big dude and ends with Berserk claiming him, ends with Griffith claiming him as his own. And then it just skips ahead 3 years to Nosferatu Zod, apparently. At least that's what the second episode was titled. I only made it halfway through the second episode. Or should I say I only made it a third of the way through the second episode, because a whole 6 goddamn minutes of that episode is the fucking Forces AMV that basically spoils half the fucking series, and then the OP. I'm angry. I'm fucking angry. But also, the story is so compacted to shit. Like, it does the intro bit, and then it jumps ahead, and Guts is a completely fucking different person now. Like, we skip all of the fucking character development that he gets between meeting Griffith and fighting Zod. There's a lot of character development in there. We skip, like, so many moments where Guts becomes a member of the Band of the Hawk. It's fucking insulting. I hate this. Why did I even add this back to the list? Let's fucking move on.
Alright, fucking get this off the list. Why did I even fucking bother?